Wow, here we are, another day in New Earth Timeline. Okay, the reason why I'm going live right now is because there's a little questioning about the energy right now in this experience where true that the light of the world that is presenting to this earth for releasing the cuckold of the tragedy of both materialism and hyper-spiritualism, which can lead to ego drifts on either side. Take it from a guy that was involved with worship leading, tens of thousands every week for years in an actuality of a thing we like to call worship, which is, you have to learn. Remember, this is a timeline, so no one knew what was the cover job. Okay? And the cover job is entity energy of either tip to side to the right or to the left. You got Ahriman and Luciferian on both sides of you, or the Christ Center channel, right? And so you're like paying attention and observing what's going on, and you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, am I in some dirty diabolical plan or system? And the answer for me has always been to pay attention to the yes and also to the no. I remember I came in friendship. Along the way, I've picked up ideas relative to what I felt family and unconditional love was. So coming from the other side, still holding form from the other side, source all, right? Okay, so that energy came with me into this place, plus 369 on a cardinal sign. So the responsibility is to be that light, and also shed light on the subjects, and also call attention to that which needs to be cleaned up, and then also press through the work, meaning declaration, so that certain energy forms would not set up and create a thing called the false table. Okay, that is not the showbread table that we were all talking about at any time. Okay, so we want to get to the show bread table, right? Okay, well, how do we do that? Well, you got to level yourself up. There's no more leveling up a group when they won't do the work to level themselves up. You can only give so much information to that aspect or that timeline, and so you're going to have to make choice points of learning that in source consciousness, all are all. Okay, down here, there was a cleanup and a pass through. And the light of the world came into the earth to shed light everywhere so that it would clean up the toxicity of mentalism. And then, that, of course, that's deeply entrenched in hearts. And, of course, minds are recycling it, right? Okay, so now you know what a trap is. Okay, you're not moving in your free will observation, and you're not getting heart coherence. Heart coherence and chaos cannot exist in the same place. So we just make the changes. It wasn't easy, I know, right? Because you thought, oh, I'm losing some friendships. Well, actually, if they were friends, when you brought up the information to be addressed, those friendships would have stepped in and said, let's take a look. Well, when you find out that those ones do not do that, but they want concealment to keep on a certain kind of culture, then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm not in a safe place. That's correct. So the universe then begins doing the adjustment. Now, I will say this. A lot of our circumstance, so a lot of our communities and a lot of our groups are built on creating buoyancy in this earth. So for instance, if you have a Piscean friend who is deeply insecure and stuck in ego to protect what little they have because they're living out of lack, lack in spirit, maybe not lack in resource, that's the illusion, okay? Maybe they lack completely in spirit, and then you find out, well, wait a minute, are you even a human, meaning entity shadow force moves through them as soon as they're in that insecurity. Well, if they wake up in insecurity and they can't sleep because they're actually being challenged on them, the energies are trying to say, hey, we love you, I'm going to shake you up and I'm going to show you something, but you have two choices. You can either override it and then say, no, 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 it's not me, which is typical Pisces, I think. Yeah, it's coming from an Aries. I had to put up a boundary on Pisces on one side because it's the beginning and the end. Oh, okay, cardinal signs working with the regular other signs. Okay. And then it's just because of up and down. We had to hold each other through this movement, and it looks like a better Kundalini move, like a dolphining, and you're not getting stuck deep down in the trenches of the contrast, and you're also not getting stuck up there in the ether, okay? Because you came to be boots on the ground. So the hard part is remaining grounded. Well, at least for a fire air sign, right? Okay, now that we're going into 0 point degree Aries, hi, I'm Aries. Okay, we're actually going to now take an account of all this. And so I reminded myself today when I pulled clothes out of my closet, because I like sometimes symbolisms of the heart. Okay, well, this beautiful shirt here, follow the hearts to Salida. Okay, well, you know, that's the heart of the Rockies. So that's the heart of the nation. So you want to follow the hearts. Well, I would ask that all of our hearts start getting expunged. Ring out, okay? You got to ring yourself, all right? Look, you came for a heart, but you didn't realize that you were here socially for the world of consciousness, okay? So we're the new timeline. We've already made drift. Some are actually still cascading down the pocket of their choice, which was not going to lead to new Earth. A role factor relative to heart codes, and so much out to what was considered French that they actually said, nah, and made a choice with shadow. They wanted to keep concealment. I think concealment produces this amazing festival kind of like and take it from a guy that's been in front of like whole scenes along the way as a player musician. No. We learn we've got to be very careful about the thing in this life. And now the timeline today is that well, let's say this. You're going to protect yourself, be popped. You're liking your state of life. I want energies to keep your concealment. That you're being drained out by these situations. It's critical because the anti-shadow doesn't have soul. I know, and you say, well, Greg, it's duality, GP. And I would say, yeah, it's duality, but in archaic, okay, and I work in those forces. So we're going to go ahead and make some auto shifting today. You've never. Love is recovering. Love is the aspect of realizing yourself. Put yourself back into you. Not the hard eyes out there trying to make people feel good because you think you got to show up because you're now in bondage because they give you something. No, they give you a trap. Not reliving the life of release. Ow! They're fearfully running around. Children grab into people's clothing because they're going down. All right, we're in a new timeline where everything is revealed. And the call to remember is that goes until it's done. There is no stopping this now. Good news for you. Souls that didn't want to do this again, you got one more, right? And then if you do good, you out of here and say, I did great, and want to come to your own work that you created in previous life. You see how this works, okay? This is a more than time, more than these things. This is about consideration, and without that, we have a hard time with heart coherence. You want to bring it back to the heart. You want to feel burn, feel the bruising, feel the pain. You got to ask yourself questions. How did I get myself here? What did I do to allow this? And then, what is this producing for life? It's always a 1, 2, 3 to ask these questions. It's never just one question. If you're only doing one question, you're living in a limited potential. You won't have the many other observations to count to make a choice point for your life. So we slow it down. Okay? We slow it down. We remind ourselves that we are the light of the world. Okay? And I am so glad and stoked to be in a timeline to finally be able to say that, because when you're dealing with shadow and they're looking to manipulate and trap into circumstances that keeps their little party going for soul sucking, then and that those aligned with that are being shit. I have to say, some of these shits are not safe because they will throw you under the bus, and it reminds me of the Pirates of the Caribbean, where that boat that had human creatures on it. Well, look, barnacles, you're being put in Davy Jones's locker, friends. Nope, not to the light of the world. We have to burn up that ocean of the soul energy so that we don't get trapped. Okay, so this is a little quickie today. You move through your week, because today it seems like today it has a level of looseness where it wasn't just jamming Friday again. So we're coming back to a maybe hour up version into this weekend. I promise it's going to speed up again. This is kind of like a forewarning group that you're going to be popped, and when that's popping happens, people will feel safe around you. Is that what you want? Oh, you do not want that in the timeline. Everything's been PC'd like a motherfucker. Also, the timeline has been adjusted, so your choice points from long ago. That means that for me, I daydream a long ago where I spoke into it. This is the kind of earth I'm going to leave you the situation in my own light. So look, we're set up to be able to present to the world human, and we're going to go ahead and ourselves into that space. Okay, here we are. Today is a beautiful day. Hearts is on. I'm following the heart back to me, and I expect that nothing. I expect nothing. I really wish for you to actually move yourself out of. These are going to get hardwired very soon. If you're wanting to become that, there's already moves in consciousness on other parts of the for trying to lock things down. Understand that is an intent to control you, so that you won't remember who you are at the time that the call to remember is on. Okay, now be in that trap. You want to be let go. Peace now, finally, from the cold. Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about that, because this is the light world's day, and we are in line with a spiritual energy that is bringing the better human. Yes, we will have a good time. You will. And yes, these are a part of the shaman learning. Festival people are actually shamans to learn that they are maybe on path for this and for the world around them. If you're living out this kind of created system, you're going to face consequences. Yeah. You didn't want them in to begin with. The consequences, I don't think the consequences of what will happen to your own energy form. Then you can deal with the observation of. But we want to really keep this unit strong. So it's got to be really it's freed up, but strong in its holding. So we're really holding a lot right now. So transformation, Coherence. Every time they try it, they're revealing their cards now. Well, seeds, well done. That's what came here, and that's what you're all about. Okay, we're gonna get things. I just wanted to let you know tomorrow we're doing our premiere show with New Earth Festival and our first interview. We'll admit that there are some audio things to work with. It turns out some of the gates that I had set up didn't really cover insects. They were piercing through the mic that. So, but I also will say that we're moving forward. We're onward. Good stuff. already working on new technologies bringing in so that we can get onto our next big thing festival here in St. Louis. More to be on that soon. But GP3 will be interviewing the spiritual festival and then also the artists in open air doing what design was made to do so that we can have the conversation of space. I am about that. So this is a quick live to get everybody up to date. Also, keep in mind that I'm giving information, and this isn't for shout to try to find it. It already lost its footing, and it's now stuck having to deal with its own group that they allowed themselves to overtake. So you might think, well, I feel that way, GP.